So let's summarize the process. Identify your goal team, take your story, combine both. When you have that all combined, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna connect with the person. So everything has to be prepared before. Now we meet the person and how to connect with them and emanate this warmth, engage with the questions. Questions are very powerful. On sales trainings is very important is the art of asking the right questions. And you actually are silent for 70% of time and only talk for 30% of time. You want the other person open yourself. And actually the mastery in real life in relation to elevator pitch is to make sure the other person will be curious enough to ask you, and what actually are you doing? If you have that question, you see already there is an interest. And the same with the sales presentations. You want the other person ask you, so how can you help me to resolve this issue? And of course, the Beatles again, all you need is practice. So building connections, we need to make sure that we create this bond, rapport with the other person. Tony Robbins says, he doesn't pitch the person until he creates a rapport. So there's no point, it's a waste of time. Until you connect with them, you don't sell your value. In the interview settings, of course, you share who you are, as we said, in a nice way, team, story, then you connect both. And also it's important in this, you include how you can help them. If you define your team right, your purpose, it should be quite easy at this stage to demonstrate that. How to connect with others? What in common do you have with others? That's very important. What do you share together? It's very simple. You probably know that, but finding those commonalities happens to be one of the strongest magnetic field who connects people. So building that connection is very important. And Tatiana Kolovu says, study shows that people judge the warmth of the person first. So there are many ways we can do that. You give a rhythm to your speech. You need to sound interesting, but interesting to the person you're talking to. You can pace yourself. So that's very interesting that the best pace is 150 words per minute. You can check if you're a fast talker or you talk too slowly. So it is important to know where are you at in relation to this median that makes your speech on the best pace. Of course, as much as possible, you try to replace the mumble words. Mumble words is like You could see I had a few already, and the key thing is that helps me is to be as much as aware as possible to make sure that you eliminate them completely at some stage. Now, nonverbals. This is not black magic. You all know that 90% is nonverbal communication. The key powerful thing that connects people is a smile. There's nothing more natural as nice, genuine smile. And if you actually are thinking about, and this is something from neurolinguistic programming, you bring an experience that brings you joy and you talk about your passion, you bring that natural smile to connect with others. And there is also something like nervous smile, and very often happens on interview. We discussed on our videos with CK recently. I had an interview with a Brazilian journalist, and she said at some stage, when you present or you make an interview, there is so-called nervous smile when you smile, but there's such a tension in your muscles. So that's very important to be aware of that and immediately relax your muscles. And that actually takes a little bit of practice. Confidence. Actually, confidence has to be the key vital point, because I work with most of the clients on the confidence, whether it relates to career strategy or sales trainings. And confidence is something holistic. So as you can see, you can build that up. When you have your team defined, you know where you're going, already your confidence raises a level up. Then you practice, it goes level up. Every time you build something, it's a holistic way of approaching to confidence. Another way of increasing your level of confidence is putting your mind, and actually there was a Harvard study says that if you intensively imagine something, your brain doesn't differentiate that from the reality. And very often you can put your mindset in a very great, fantastic, powerful state. And if you can do that and you go with that confidence, there's different emanates of energy. When you sit, it's online interview. You try to be a little bit back from your chair, not like a cowboy old movies. You want to sit in a nice position and also not too close to the camera. You want to be whole seen. And as much as possible, clothes needs to be ironed, especially when you claim you have great attention to details. You try to keep your elbows at least above the table, gestures visible if possible, of course. That helps you also, your body, with your voice to project as much as credibility as possible. And we spoke with CK on another occasion on interview about personal branding. If someone wants to look, there are videos on my channel. When personal brand, when you establish that, helps you a lot build up your confidence. As better you build your brand on social media or even in relation to a professional circle, make sure your background reflects you. I love learning, and books are one of my key favorite journey to personal and professional development. And you can see that clearly from my background. Bring a story that always opens up people. When you share something valuable, something personal from your life, really, it can be a defining factor of having that stronger connection and also build up a confidence. You created your connection, you need to show you are a competent person. Tatiana Kolovu suggests to have 3 words description of you. For example, psychology junkie who loves studying human behavior, problem solver who loves data analysis. So those few words already deliver a lot, send such a great message. They already say, what are you do? What is your passion? For me, will be sales trainer and career coach who believes in the power of learning and development. Having that small sentence defined at the start is actually already a huge step. And sometimes one sentence make a huge difference. Being credible is also talking about your uniqueness, knowing how you talk about yourself, the humble bragger. It is very important. The best way is to do it indirectly. So others said about me this, so you can say what they said, because I focus on, and that you then develop and nicely connect. So what happened is, it's not you talking about yourself, it's others, but also you affirm that because this is your passion. It's a nice, humble way of talking about yourself. And make sure, of course, it's true. Relate to the other person, because if it's a company or people who believe in certain values, you want to make sure you have values in common. Questions: would you think this value will bring anything to your company? Would you think that my experience or my passion to this will add any value? That's very direct question. At some stage of interview, nicely to ask, but if it is an elevator pitch, a first time, you don't ask, oh, would you have an opening job for me? The value you bring, would it help in this specific project? Or you say, I have a few ideas. Would you have a time to make for a next couple of coffee? If it's a business networking, if it's an interview, you say, I research about the company. I've done this, and this, and I think there's a great potential. I can contribute a lot to your projects. So this is something important to take for consideration, and then finishing with, would you see a value in it? And that's a very, very tricky question used in sales. You're not closing directly the sale. You're just asking, would you see a value in it? And if they say, okay, I see a value in it, they made a commitment. From psychological point of view, you create a stronger connection. Beatles again. All you need is practice oral version, written version, and make sure you get feedback. The feedback is the fastest way to master your skill. Robert Greene, in his book, said, there is no shortcut in professional career. He said the only way to progress faster is to have a mentor. You need to take that into consideration to engage someone in it, or record a video. Start with yourself, but be a harsh judge what you see. Try to pick up as many elements as possible, but third party is always the best in relation to practicing your elevator pitch. It's nice to have, I know it's old fashioned now, business cards, But nowadays, I really suggest the last question, do you have LinkedIn account? And very often people do, and it's nice. Now you can scan the barcodes. I, on my business card, have a LinkedIn barcode that straight leads me to my profile. You need to remember when finishing the meeting is to ask for that connection, to ask for the next meeting. At the end of interview, ask for the job. Based on what I told you, would you see that I can bring value to your company? You won't have that affirmation, nice, gentle way, and they say, yeah, actually we do. So this is important, what message you send and what actually subconscious way they affirm your great value during the interview process. Tailor your pitch to your audience. Having that said, if let's say you applying for a job in Dublin Business School, you relate to their values, you relate to values of the people you're speaking with as much as you can. You, of course, can find them, research them on their LinkedIn profiles or on the other social media. Make sure you're not look too invasive. Don't comment too much on their private life, but professional life. It's a nice way to emphasize that you've done your homework.